shit. Select. Shalom. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushua Ba'Shem, Rakakadash, and the martyrs to the apostles and others, great millstone salutations to the hopeful elect. And there's your brother, I'm now Allah from Gem Chicago, and coming back with you with another lesson, all right, relating to what's happening right now in America, all right, and I mainly want to go into this part right here with the DoD Directive 5240.01, all right, because this is I remember, all right, most of those brothers, right, they're in the know, all right, we remember that Esau, all right, they passed a bill, basically, well, a legislation, or however you want to call it, but they basically passed this DoD last year, all right, as you can see the date right there, September 27, 2024, all right, and it's all, and what this is telling you is that Esau is getting ready to use his sword, all right, he's about to come down with great wrath upon you 2/3 of Israel, all right, because Esau knows that he has but a short time, right, because he's seeing that our people are waking up to the fact that they are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of, all right. Esau knows that his time is short. He knows that our Lord Yahushua is about to return, all right. Esau knows that his kingdom is ending, and this is why he's seeing that this is why he's seeing these things take place on the earth, all right. You know, Esau is divided against himself. Right? Esau is basically deploying the Marines, and the whole thing with this immigration problem. All right, where Esau is creating all this. You know, what you're seeing. All right, what's happening in California is spreading, right, like wildfires, and it's all planned. Right, it's all planned. Ultimately, for Esau to come down with great wrath upon you 2/3 of Israel, right? Upon you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Arab Americans. But it says in this DoD, all right, which was passed last year, it says levels of authority, all right, and basically shows you what kind of authority they'll be granted in a time of crisis, all right, and specifically, you know, what we want to focus on is this highlighted part right here, where it says levels of authority as Secretary of Defense approval. Secretary of Defense may approve of any type of request permissible assistance described in the paragraph 3.2. The decision to approve requests for these types of permissible assistance described in the paragraph 3.2 to law enforcement agencies and other civil authorities are reserved to the Secretary of Defense. Provision of personnel to support response efforts for civil disturbance, which may also require presidential authorization. All right. And then, you know, what you're seeing right now is some civil disturbance, but it's going to intensify when the next major crisis hits. All right, it could be a terrorist attack, it could be that new virus that Esau is getting really ready to unleash, the financial collapse, definitely, the blackouts. All right, the blackouts that Esau has been warning us, you know, through you know, the predictive programming. All right. So, you know, right now the fire is already being kindled, right? Esau, you know, with the thing with Biden and Kamala, right? They're not stupid, all right? They're not stupid to let in a bunch of, all right? the place is so that when Trump gets in office, all right, he can go ahead and you know, eh, deploy ICE so that he can start, deporting these some of these innocent people, all right, back to where they are, only to spark chaos, all right, and what you're seeing right now. And then what that shows you that Esau at the end of the day does not give a shit about you Jakes, right? Biden doesn't care about you Jakes. Esau, well, any kind of Edomite, right? They don't give a fuck about you Jakes, right? They are not your friends. They are your enemies, right? And he's getting ready to come down with great wrath. But nonetheless, I'm gonna continue with this document. But basically, it says DoD response to chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and high-yield explosive incidents. C. Assistance in responding with the assets with potential for lethality, meaning that Esau's things are about to become lethal when they declare martial law, basically, because I believe they're about to suspend habeas corpus. Basically, what that means is that when they suspend habeas corpus, they're going to declare martial law, and they can basically throw you in prison without you having a lawyer, or basically stripping you away from your rights. All right, so basically, when they declare martial law, they can go ahead and throw you in a FEMA camp, and there's nothing that you can do about it. All right, in a time of crisis, and that's what is getting ready to happen. All right, the next major event can happen any day now, any month. If it don't happen this month, eventually it's going to happen, because we know that through these prophecies that are coming to pass that we're at the end. And the way how things look right now, all right, halfway through this year, all right, a lot of shit is happening real fast. But it says an assistance in responding with assets with potential for lethality or any situation in which is reasonably foreseeable that providing the requested assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force. Right? So things are about to get deadly, including death or serious bodily injury. All right? And this is an authority that martial law will be granted. All right? When things get crazy out here. And yeah, the next thing you know, right, we're in a time of Jacob's trouble. Right? Which we're seeing it starting to begin right now, right? But shit hasn't really happened yet, as far as shit is happening, but it hasn't gotten to the intense part just yet, but it's getting there. All right, just gotta wait for the next major crisis to hit. But it says it also includes all support to civilian law enforcement officials in situations where a confrontation between civilian law enforcement and civilian individuals or groups is reasonably anticipated, such the use of force must be in accordance with DoD, potentially as further restricted based on the specific requested support. But yeah, all right. Esau's getting ready to use his sword, and the things that you're seeing with these Democrats and these Republicans, the main heads that are going after each other's necks is what it may look like, but really, all right, they're just working together at the end of the day to accomplish a new world order. But it says Revelation 13:11. And I behold another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And the two horns is speaking about the Democrat and the Republican side, all right? But it says, and he spake as a dragon. So really, at the end of the day, all right, these two political sides, are really just working together with the elites to accomplish a new world order, all right, one world government, by the way of implementing the RFID microchip, having these people get this digital implant underneath their skin, and having total control over everybody. But really, all right, you know, they want to enslave you, Jakes. They want to enslave you, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, because these politicians are Esau. All right, they know Trump especially. All right, he already knows that you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Right, Biden, he knows the same shit. Right, you know, all these heads, you know, Esau, all these heads that you're seeing, right, that rule on the earth today, right, they know who you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans really are. And this is why you're seeing this planned chaos is happening, right? Ultimately, you know, to bring chaos out of order. Slack order out of chaos. All right. All right, those two horns are basically on the same dragon. So yeah. Words were smoother than butter. And hey, you can't trust this devil, right? It may seem like he may be on your side, but really, at the end of the day, Esau don't give a fuck about you, Jakes. Right? Because Esau's getting ready to use his sword. Just like what I showed you in that document just right now. The DOD. Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And that's right. It may appear that Esau may look innocent and all. But hey, you know, don't let his innocence act fool you, right? Because Esau is ready to shed blood, right? He knows that we are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. He knows that we are the Lord's chosen people, right? He knows that we have the birthright, and he's getting ready to use his sword against us. All right, he's going to use the sword. He's ultimately going to use the sword, all right, against 2/3 of our people. But hey, you know, he's not going to touch the Lord's elect. All right. The Lord is going to make sure that he don't touch his elect. It says, Isaiah 59:19, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. Right? Esau's about to come in like a flood. He's about to declare martial law. All right? He's about to use his sword against you 2/3 of Israel. And really, you know, the Lord is using him, is using Esau, all right, to put judgment upon you 2/3 of Israel, right? Because you 2/3, right? You 2/3 really gotta go, right? You're polluted in the mind, all right? You're all fucked up. None of you want to come back into the true ways of following of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, all right? You just want to continue doing wickedness, and the Lord has to destroy you. But it says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up, shall lift up a standard against them. And hey, the Lord is going to lift up a standard, up for his elect, right? So Esau, hey, you ain't going to touch the Lord's elect, all right? You ain't going to touch the Lord's anointed, his remnant, all right? And there's nothing you can do about it when Yahweh Shai returns, because once Yahweh Shai returns, it's over. It's over for you, Esau. You can't do shit. It says Genesis 27:41, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. And that's what is beginning. That's what's starting to happen, right? Real soon, right? Because Esau, he knows that you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Arab Americans are the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. He knows that you're the Lord's people, all right? And especially these elites, all right? They know that we have the blessing. I know, yeah, they know that we have, the birthright. Fuck, slacking. I'm meant to start at 38. But it says, and Esau said unto his father, has so but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also. Bless me, talking about birthright. Slacking. Oh, okay. Slacking. I'm gonna start with 36. But basically, Esau sold his birthright for a pot of porridge. For pot of meat, right? Esau didn't really cared about his birthright, so he sold it to Jacob, right? Which is us, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Arab Americans. It says Genesis 27 and 36, and he said, is not he rightly named Jacob, for he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright. And well, really, Esau sold his birthright to Jacob, right, for some meat. And he behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, of my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. Which, that's what you're seeing today. The so-called white man, all right, Esau Edom, all right, he's he's blessed with the fatness of the earth. Basically, they have riches, right? They got land. They basically own every goddamn thing, all right. And they have you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Arab Americans, all right, working in these factories, barely getting by, not getting paid shit, right? We're basically, in modern slavery, while Esau is still ruling over us to this very day. But it says, and Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live. And Esau is blessed with the sword, right? That modern day weapon, right? That gun, the assault rifle, you name it. All right, Esau knows how to use the sword better than Jake, and he's about to use it against you, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, when all hell breaks loose. And shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when those shall have the dominion, that those shall break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing. Right, it says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And you see, Esau hates you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans even up to this day. Right? Trump don't give a shit about you. Biden don't give a fuck about you. Right? Kamala Harris, she ain't even us. All right? Kamala Harris is not even an Israelite. Right? She's not a so-called black, Latino, or Native American at all, right? Because when you look at her at her father, right? It all goes back to an Edomite. And yeah, that's the so-called, white man, basically. But it says, and Esau hated Jacob because of his blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. That is what Esau is getting ready to do when all hell breaks loose, when he declares martial law, right? And it's only a matter of time. But anyways, hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, and Shalom.